In this video, I'm going to show you all the major changes they made on the new 2024 Porsche Panamera Turbo. Alright guys, so this is a new generation of Panamera, the third generation if you guys have been keeping track. And starting with the design, they completely changed it. And I want to start with this front portion right here, the front bumper, because it has more vents. Starting with this vent, the center vent that's above the license plate holder basically. And that's to feed in more air into your radiator, your heat exchangers, and on top of this large vent down below. And if you come to the right, you'll see that there's this side vent right here, which has your integrated daytime running lights, large vents, these nice slats to guide air in, and the integrated parking sensors nicely over here. Coming on to the headlights, you see they're all new LED headlights, matrix design, and you have nice daytime running lights, nice Porsche lettering, and this nice black housing with a black surround. If you take a step back, you'll notice the fender is actually a lot more bold than the prior generation. They really let it accentuate, kind of like the 911s, obviously inspired that design, and it looks good. It helps you kind of place your wheels when you're driving on the track, which they want you to do in the Turbo. But let's talk about wheel package here. This is a 21-inch wheel design sitting on 275/35 R21 tires. This is a traditional, Porsche, wheel with bolt patterns. You can get a center locking wheel if you want that for more performance track use. I recommend if you're dailying this thing to get the traditional wheel patterns because it's more practical day to day in case you get a flat and stuff like that. But the center locking wheels do look really cool. Taking a step back here, coming on the side, you do get this nice e-hybrid because all the turbos are going to be e-hybrid, and we'll talk about what that means when we get under the hood. You do have an additional vent over here, these nice body lines that really accent the side of the vehicle, which is cool. Coming around the back here, you do get that swept roof line, full glass roof on the Turbo. So we'll see what that's like on the inside. But let me do a quick bit on the suspension. This has Porsche's active ride suspension, and what that lets you do is when I go to open the door, it'll raise the suspension like that. It gives you that easy access feature, and I'll cut to a quick bit where we focus on how the suspension works and what it does. All right guys, so what you're looking at here are two of the different suspension systems offered on the new Panamera. Previously, it was an entirely air suspension with the PDCC, the active roll suspension system. They replaced that with active ride and then your semi-passive air suspension system. So to the left is what's offered on the non-hybrid models, and also offered on the turbos, but not available. It's their two air chamber, and your dual valve shock absorber. So you got adjustments on rebound and compression, and then you got that dual chamber air system. Right here is the new Porsche Active Ride hydraulic system. So you do get a single chamber, so single bag, as you can see here, it's one big chamber. This would close off that chamber if you do want to, for that true dual chamber setup. Here you do not have that feature. Instead, what you have is this insert, this little fitting, which is how you feed your hydraulic lines into this strut. So what that allows you to do is, like I said, that easy of access feature. You also get the ability for it to lean forward as you're accelerating, lean back as you're decelerating, and lean into the turns for additional comfort. But it also helps on the performance end with keeping the vehicle planted, keeping it flat. Even when you're accelerating, it keeps it really flat, which is super cool to experience if you ever get the chance to try it. But this isn't the entirety of the system. I got to show you another part, which is the electric motor as well as the pump, and that actually sits over here. It replaces that 48-volt actuator for your anti-roll bar, and what you're looking at right here is a large electric motor. There's two, so one for each wheel, one in the front axle and one in the rear. You do get your hydraulic pump right here, which feeds that hydraulic fluid, or loads the hydraulic fluid, spins forwards and backwards, depending if you want to lower or raise your wheel. And like I said, this is meant for providing comfort, but also for increasing the capacity when it comes to the performance of the vehicle. All right, continuing around the design, coming around the back here, that right there is your fuel cap. You don't really need to know much about that, but the reason I say that is because on the other side is your plug-in for that plug-in hybrid aspect. So it's unlocked here. This is obviously not a US spec. We will be getting a different charge port door, but you do have plug-in hybrid capabilities. WLTP, I think they're estimating around 57 miles of range, which is nice, but what am I doing here? We got to talk about the spoiler, the 3-stage deployable spoiler, iconic to the Panamera Turbo model, even the GTS, which isn't out yet. I'm expecting that to have this as well. Looks awesome, obviously opening and closing. And then you do get an updated rear LED light bar below it with Porsche lettering. Very nice, very sleek, especially if you come to the right here and see how it tapers off into the rear fender. And that's really like kind of reminiscent to the new Porsche 911 styling and what Porsche has been doing across the lineup. Coming down below here, you do get quad polished exhaust tips, which is nice with your active exhaust system, and that sounds really good. I'll put an exhaust clip here. You guys. But with that, let's hop under the hood and talk powertrain. All right, guys, so under the hood, you do have, once I find this, 4-liter twin turbo V8. It now makes 670 horsepower, 685 pound-feet of torque. Does 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, which is insane to think for a 4-door sedan. But honestly, this is what Porsche is really known for, and they focus a lot on powertrain. And we're gonna cut to a quick bit showing you the inside of the transmission, which they made some updates to, as well as the interior of the engine, because they have made some changes to get that extra little power out of it. So we'll cut to that. All right, so talking about the improvements they made on the entire drivetrain, we can't call it just engine, just electric motor. It really is an integrated system. And we have to talk about the revisions to the 8-speed PDK transmission. And as you can see, like, what are you guys looking at here? You're looking at a lot of gears. That's kind of this right here, right? That dual clutch setup. And then over here is your electric motor. You can see all your coils over here, they kind of cut in half. They have made improvements to the electric motor. It sits within the bell housing compared to other competitor vehicles which do not have it. They have it outside the transmission and just hooked up. A lot of different configurations out there. Porsche focuses on oil cooling inside the transmission casing for their integrated electric motor. And that just is their strategy for providing quick response and good torque to get you out of corners, but also to easily switch between pure EV drive and high performance driving. So it is super cool to look at here, but the other half is the engine, which sits over here. But let's get back to the rest of the video. All right, so the first thing you're gonna notice inside is the revised dash layout. And with these screens here, you're first gonna notice on the right, you get a passenger screen, which has that privacy glass, so the polarization makes it a little hard to see off axis, but that's intentional to reduce driver distraction. Obviously, it should be focused on the road, but there is also this 10.9-inch touchscreen that has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's nice and responsive, works really well, and has their latest user interface and software. Going to the left, you'll see you have your little gear selector here, like the Taycan, like the Cayenne has. It's now on the right, and then down in the center here, you'll see you have a new AC control, no physical AC controls across the entire vehicle. Actually, they're all kind of controlled via the touchscreen or via the auto climate, which Porsche wants you to use because they believe that they've been tuned enough that you can kind of just set it and forget it. Down here, you do have capacitive controls for your AC, heated and ventilated seat controls, physical volume knob, which you like, and then this new cover, which actually houses a wireless charger, 15-watt wireless charger, which is nice, as well as two USB-C ports, both for data and charging. You do get nice big cup holders here, large armrest that opens up, and it's actually pretty clever because you get this nice little divider you can place here, and then this is the key if you guys are curious what that looked like. That's the key right there. And let's talk about these seats. These are the turbo 18-way adjustable seats. You can adjust it to basically any degree. Nice Porsche embossing on the headrest. I love that touch that you can get as an option. Obviously, you can customize these as much as you want. Turbo right there, which is great. Perforation on the seats. But with that, let's hop onto the driver's side and see what you get from my perspective. Okay, so let's start with the door panel real quick. You do get all this nice accenting here that goes into your door panel. Your memory seats, lock, unlock, all your switch gear down here to open up your fuel door, your tailgate, and then you get a nice door pocket here. But I do want to talk about this door sill. It's got a nice little silhouette of the new Panamera with that accenting that I mentioned earlier and all that good stuff. But let's talk about this new curved display that's similar to the new Cayenne that came out, obviously inspired by the Taycan when that first came out. There's no hood, but it does really good in avoiding reflections during brighter days. We've been driving today and it's honestly done really well. And then you do notice even on the side, these vents are not physically manually adjustable. They're just electronically controlled within the touchscreen. Your start stop button's over here, and then your steering wheel, because this has that that turbo turbonite, the crest has that nice turbonite Porsche crest down there with your paddle shifters, your drive mode selector, and honestly looks and feels really nicely. All right, so you get a Panamera because you care about second row comfort and practicality, and they definitely tried a lot here to improve that experience. And starting with what you see here is the center touchscreen, very nicely integrated with AC vents above it. You have a cockpit laid out if you want to see how fast the driver is going, which is pretty funny. Navigation, seat controls, you can open and close. We'll do that real quick. You can close and open the rear sunshade, which is nice. You do get your cup holders here, which kind of pop out like that, which that's pretty small, but they're there. And then if I fold down this armrest, you'll see a nice touch, which is the Porsche crest right there. So really nice attention to detail and customizability on the way this one is spec'd out. But let's talk about these seats. You get true Porsche, sport bucket seats in the back. They aren't adjustable, unfortunately, in any way, but they are heated and ventilated. And if you come to the headrest, you'll notice a nice little Porsche headrest. Look at that. Honestly, I think it looks really cool. Nice Porsche branding right there, suede on the top, and I think it's an additional layer of comfort and luxury that they're adding to the Panamera Turbo. That's gonna wrap it up here. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer them. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.